Nothing makes retirees more anxious than the feeling of buying a cheap home and paying for it with the rest of their lives. Florida is exploding with towns where homes are priced so low it feels unreal. But behind those numbers are risks you can't ignore. Natural disasters, skyrocketing insurance, disconnected communities, and a daily life that never feels truly secure. In today's video, 10 Florida towns where home prices are so low, you'll think it's a scam. Housing market warning. I'll take you through 10 places that seem ideal, but could actually be traps that turn your golden years into a storm of regrets. No promotions, no sugarcoating. Each town is broken down with the latest data, real analysis, and honest insight, tailored for those over 50. People who value stability, connection, and real safety. Don't skip a single town, because one wrong decision could cost you the retirement dream you spent your life building. 10. Clewiston, so cheap. It makes you doubt, but the real price might be your peace of mind. If you're looking for a place in Florida that feels shockingly affordable, Clewiston will immediately catch your eye. Just over $250,000 for a spacious home with a yard and garage. Sounds like a once-in-a-lifetime deal. But behind that price tag are serious red flags that could trap you if you're not paying attention. Clewiston sits right next to Lake Okeechobee, a name that sounds peaceful, but in reality, it's one of the highest inland flood risk zones in Florida. The flood risk score here is 76 out of 100, and the past is hard to forget. In 1928, a major storm broke the lake's levee and took over 2,500 lives. Yes, the levee was upgraded recently, but with today's climate change, no one can guarantee your safety. Every rainy season, residents live on edge. And for older adults, that feeling of unease is anything but small. Cheap? Yes, but the trade-off is fear, a pounding heart every time a thunderstorm rolls in. And that's not all. The local housing market? Practically frozen. In July alone, only 2 homes were sold. Just 2, for the entire town. Homes sit on the market for up to 90 days, far longer than the state average. Prices are ticking up, but only because there are so few buyers, not because Clewiston is hot. As for the economy, jobs are scarce. The population is just over 7,000, mostly dependent on agriculture. The average income is nearly half the national average. There's only one hospital, small and limited in emergency services. If something serious happens, many have to be transferred to a hospital nearly 2 hours away. That dream of buying a cheap home in Florida might feel like it's within reach. But what you're really weighing is a cocktail of natural disaster risk, limited health care, and a housing market that's practically frozen. So the real question is, are you willing to trade your peace of mind, your safety, just to own a cheaper house? If this story gives you pause, leave a comment below. Have you ever considered Clewiston? And what do you think about places that seem too cheap to be true? Don't forget to like and subscribe for more honest, reality-based analysis, no fluff, from people who truly understand what those over 50 are looking for. 9. Lehigh Acres. Home prices are dropping fast, but behind it is a flood, waiting to drown your dream. A place where ambulances can't get in just because the roads turn to mud after a heavy rain. Would you dare call that home? Lehigh Acres is the clearest warning. The cheaper the house, the higher the price you might end up paying if you don't look deeper. In just the past 12 months, the median home price here has dropped over 7%, now sitting below $300,000. Some brand new homes were sold at a loss just months after being built. Feels like a bargain, doesn't it? But why are prices falling this fast? Because those who bought earlier are now facing something the brochures never mentioned: muddy dirt roads, flooded streets, and ambulances that can't reach you when the rains pour. Many neighborhoods in Lehigh Acres were planned back in the 1950s, but still lack proper drainage systems. Every rainy season brings chaos. Roads turn into swamps. One resident recalled having to call local authorities to send a truck to suck out the mud just so they could leave their home. That's not what you want to deal with in your retirement years. But it's not just the weather. Lehigh Acres is growing fast in population, but infrastructure isn't keeping up. The area is packed with people but has no clear city center. Public amenities are scattered, with few large hospitals and very limited senior services. Many feel forgotten, left to fend for themselves. Some retirees moved here because of low prices, but within a few years, they sold and left, exhausted from living in a place that feels half-finished. No real safety in the rain, no full range of services, no sense of true community. So tell me, a house under $300,000, but in exchange you get floods, bad roads, and poor services. Is that still a deal? 8. Zephyrhills. Cheap at first, expensive forever. When people hear Zephyrhills, they often think, this is the ideal retirement town, quiet, affordable, filled with seniors. But the reality? This place is quietly becoming a financial trap, especially for those living on retirement income. In July alone, the median home price in Zephyrhills crossed $290,000, up more than 14% year over year. But here's the paradox. Sales volume dropped by 32%. The housing market isn't hot, it's shrinking. Prices are rising not because of demand, but because there are fewer listings and sellers are refusing to cut prices. The big draw of Zephyrhills used to be its mobile home parks. With low living costs, it was the golden option for retirees who wanted something simple and cheap. But now, those mobile homes are turning into traps. You buy the home, but not the land it sits on. And the lot rent? It's nearly doubled in the past decade. Large investment firms have bought up many parks, jacking up monthly lot fees. You can't sell easily. You can't just leave because you own the home, but not the ground underneath it. If you're not in a mobile home, you'll likely be renting. But rent in Zephyrhills isn't cheap anymore. A one-bedroom apartment now averages over $1,500 a month, a jump of more than 5% in just 1 year. For someone living on fixed retirement income, that's half of your monthly check, not even counting utilities, insurance, or medication. In short, Zephyrhills is no longer the affordable retirement haven people thought. It's becoming a place where the cost of living keeps climbing, especially for older adults who need predictability and financial peace. So what do you think? Is it worth sacrificing long-term peace of mind just for a starter price that looks easy on paper? 7. Davenport, close to Disney, but actually a risky dream trap. You think living near Disney sounds like the perfect retirement dream? But in Davenport, where home prices are falling fast and the population is booming, that dream might shatter if you don't look beneath the surface. The median home price in Davenport has dropped nearly 9% in just 1 year, now hovering around $323,000. Homes are sitting on the market for over 70 days, almost double the time compared to the market's peak. Sounds like a soft price, but the truth reveals a deeper issue: low buyer interest and fewer people moving in to stay for the long term. And if you want to sell and move out, it's harder than you think. Davenport used to be a small town with fewer than 3,000 residents. Now, its population has tripled in just 10 years. But that growth didn't come with matching infrastructure. Many new housing developments were built on old farmland, lacking proper roads, schools, or large medical centers. Neighborhoods sit side by side, yet remain completely disconnected. No shared parks, no community spaces. For seniors, this creates a deep sense of isolation, even in the place they call home. Mary, a 65-year-old widow, once said, "I moved here thinking being close to Disney would be convenient. But every time I get sick, I have to drive nearly 40 minutes just to reach the nearest large hospital." The bigger issue? Most homes in Davenport are built for short-term rentals. You'll see beautiful houses, private pools, modern interiors, but your neighbors change every week. No community feel, no stability. And if you're thinking about renting yours on Airbnb, get ready for paperwork, permits, taxes, zoning rules, and even the risk of fines for the smallest mistake. Davenport isn't a bad place, but for anyone over 50 looking for a real home, not just a cheap deal, but a place to feel safe, connected, and cared for, this town raises serious red flags. 6. Palatka. Shockingly cheap homes. But that's a warning, not a win. Just over $200,000 for a house with a yard in Florida? For many nearing retirement, that sounds like the golden ticket to escape sky-high housing prices. But in Palatka, that low price isn't an opportunity. It's a clear warning. And if you miss it, you might end up paying with the very quality of life you're trying to protect. Home prices in Palatka now hover around $206,000, far below the state average. But don't celebrate too soon. Homes here take more than 85 days to sell. Transaction volume is low. Most buyers are investors or people relocating because they have no other choice. A cheap house doesn't mean a high-quality life, especially when you're stuck in a cold market, with no influx of new people and no easy way to cash out when needed. Palatka sits in Putnam County, an area still struggling with slow development. Yes, the town has its own hospital with around 100 beds, but healthcare services remain limited. Essential care for seniors, like rehab, specialists, or long-term care, are all lacking. If something serious happens, you may need to drive over 40 minutes to Gainesville or Jacksonville, and that's far from ideal for a retiree who needs timely medical support. Even if your cost of living here is low, just $300 a month for a small apartment, you have to ask yourself, are you truly living? Palatka lacks senior centers, its parks are mostly symbolic, and social activities are few and far between. For many older adults, retirement isn't just about affordability. It's about having people around, engagement, and feeling like you belong. In Palatka, that feeling is painfully rare. If all you see is the cheap price, Palatka might leave you shocked by the isolation, the lack of support, and a system that doesn't meet the needs of aging. For those over 50, choosing the wrong place to live doesn't just cost money. It could cost you the most meaningful years of your life. 5. Starke, rising prices. Don't always mean a better life. Be careful with towns where home prices are rising fast, but life on the inside remains stuck in place. Starke is a textbook example. Home prices here have jumped over 25% in the past year, but infrastructure, services, and peace of mind for older adults are still far behind. In just 1 year, Starke's median home price rose nearly 26%, a skyrocketing pace compared to the state average. The market is tight, inventory is low, and listing prices keep climbing. But this isn't because retirees are flocking in. It's mostly driven by investors and bargain hunters looking to flip. And when the market is all about profits, not people, you may be the one left behind in a volatile and unpredictable place. Starke has a population of just over 5,800. And notably, the average age here is only 33. It's a young, active community, but not ideal for seniors seeking peace, support, and structure. The local hospital is small, and elder care services are scattered. If a medical emergency hits, you'll likely need to travel far for proper treatment. A serious concern for anyone entering a stage of life where health support is essential. Some might be drawn in by the charm of downtown, Call Street, historic buildings, that old town feel. But what you need in retirement is connection, a senior center, a quiet park to walk each morning, a warm coffee chat with neighbors you know. And sadly, Starke doesn't offer that. It's a place with shape, but missing soul. Pretty to look at, but hollow to live in. Starke may be going up in price, but its value for people seeking a real home is still up for debate. Sure, you could get a house cheaper than in a big city, but what you give up is community, medical safety, and a life that honors your golden years. Leave your thoughts in the comments. If you're thinking of buying in Starke, think twice. And if this video helped you see things more clearly, don't forget to like and subscribe for more honest, no-fluff analysis from people who truly get what the 50-plus community needs. 4. Sebastian. One hurricane could blow away the retirement. You spent 30 years saving for many moved to Sebastian, enchanted by its calm beaches and surprisingly low home prices for a coastal town. But all it takes is one major hurricane to turn your peaceful dream into an overwhelming nightmare. A roof torn off. Insurance premiums doubled, and a sense of fear with every gust of wind. The median home price in Sebastian sits around $285,000, clearly lower than most coastal towns in Florida. For those dreaming of a seaside retirement, it sounds like the perfect offer. But few realize that cheap price comes with a harsh reality. This area lies directly in the frequent path of major storms. And with nature this fierce, nothing is truly free. You'll pay through insurance, maintenance, and unplanned evacuations. First, home insurance here is a growing nightmare. After hurricanes like Ian and Irma, many insurance companies either doubled their rates or pulled out entirely. Residents now report premiums as high as $5,000 to $7,000 per year, even for homes not directly on the beach. For those living on retirement income, that number can wreck a lifetime of financial planning. Second, natural disasters here aren't just once in a while. Sebastian feels the effects of hurricanes almost every year. Maybe not the eye of the storm, but enough to knock out power, flood roads, topple trees, and break essential infrastructure. For older adults, each storm is not just stressful, it's a reminder that nature always has the final word. Third, while there's a strong retiree presence here, community life feels unstable. In peak season, everything's buzzing. Farmers markets, beach clubs, Saturday yoga. But in off-season or after a storm, neighborhoods go quiet and social life grinds to a halt. For the 50-plus crowd, it's not about a few fun months. It's about daily connection, all year long. Sebastian might charm you on a map, but living here means facing tough questions, rising insurance bills, storm threats, and never quite feeling secure even in your own home. 3. Apopka, where home prices rise steadily, but the feeling of home doesn't keep up. You may be seeing home prices in Apopka rise year after year and think, this must be a good place to invest. But if you're over 50 and you're looking for a place to settle down in peace, pause. Look deeper. Behind those numbers is a town growing too fast, with infrastructure lagging far behind, and a climate getting harsher every year, leaving you feeling swept away, completely unprepared. The median home price in Apopka now sits around $420,000, depending on neighborhood and property type. Over the past year, the market saw a modest rise of 4 to 5%. Sounds stable, right? But compared to the explosive growth in population, construction density, and stress on infrastructure, there's something worrying. Apopka's development is outpacing its ability to support the people living there, especially for older adults who need calm, steady, and safe environments to age in place. And the biggest red flag for those over 50? The worsening climate. Apopka is in a region with extremely high risk for extreme heat and wildfires. According to climate projections, by 2050, the number of days over 95 degrees, 35 degrees Celsius, could jump from a few per year to more than 70 days annually. Add to that the risk of local flooding and overwhelmed drainage systems, thanks to zoning that hasn't kept up with construction speed. Then there's the loss of community feeling. New subdivisions are popping up, but with no shared public space, no dedicated senior centers, and the nearest major hospital is over 20 minutes away by car. There are plans to build nearly 480 affordable retirement homes, but until they're finished and running smoothly, you'll be waiting at least a few more years. 2. Titusville. Low home prices, but high-risk living for your golden years. Many see home prices in Titusville hovering around $275,000 to $290,000 and think, this is my last chance to buy in Florida. But if you're over 50, what matters most isn't just the price, it's stability, safety, and the ability to live long-term. Unfortunately, Titusville falls short on all three. The real estate market here is showing signs of slowing down. In the past 12 months, median prices have dropped by anywhere from 0.7% to 4%, depending on the source. Homes are taking up to 50 days to sell, proof that buyer interest is cooling. Transactions are rising slightly, but mostly due to short-term investors or people with no other options along the coast. But the bigger issue? Natural disasters. Titusville sits right along the Atlantic, in the path of major hurricanes. Flooding, heavy winds, and widespread power outages are common during storm season. For older adults, every hurricane isn't just a financial threat. It's a real risk to health, safety, and the ability to evacuate if needed. And the local infrastructure? Still underdeveloped. Yes, there's Parish Hospital, but critical senior services like long-term care, rehabilitation, and social programs are still lacking. Titusville's economy is also not well diversified. For retirees looking to live, not just stay, it doesn't offer that feeling of long-term stability. 1. Punta Gorda. Cheap doesn't matter. When storms and insurance are eating away your peace of mind. Home prices here have dropped over 12% in the past year, and many see this as a golden chance to retire near the ocean at one of the most affordable spots in America. But in Punta Gorda, what seems cheap today could become dangerous tomorrow, because the money you save now might cost you double when disaster strikes, insurance premiums spike, and fear begins to replace comfort. As of August 2025, the median home price in Punta Gorda has fallen to around $351,000, a sharp drop from over $400,000 the year before. It sounds attractive, but it's a red flag, a clear sign that this market is losing appeal. Homes now sit on the market for nearly 100 days. Many sellers are forced to cut prices by 5% or more just to get buyers. Not because the homes are bad, but because people are scared of the rising risks. Punta Gorda was hit hard by Hurricane Ian, and the scars haven't healed. Even as the damage lingers, new threats are already on the horizon. As a high-risk coastal zone, This town is seeing skyrocketing insurance costs for both homeowners and flood coverage. Some are paying over $6,000 per year. For retirees on fixed incomes, this single expense can wreck an entire household budget. Worse than the financial pain is the constant emotional toll. You can't relax when every summer turns into a countdown. Will the storm hit? Will the roof hold? How much will insurance go up this time? That kind of tension, especially for those over 50, can make even the most beautiful home feel unlivable. Punta Gorda may be cheap, it may be picturesque, but it is not for anyone seeking stability, safety, and peace in their final chapters of life. Don't let the low price fool you, because the most valuable thing isn't the house. It's the peace of mind that comes with living in it. A cheap house might save you money today, but if you choose the wrong place to live, the real cost could be constant anxiety, declining health, financial strain, and years of quiet loneliness. These 10 towns aren't here to scare you. They're here to wake you up. Because at this stage in life, you don't need a good deal. You need a place that's truly worth living in, a place you can trust. Florida's housing market is shifting fast. Insurance premiums are exploding. Storms are hitting harder and more often, and the so-called paradises are quietly pushing retirees into crisis. Be careful, because one rushed decision today could lead to years of chaos tomorrow. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. Here, every video is a clear, honest map to help you make the smartest decision for your retirement journey. Are you still choosing where to live? Or have you ever made the mistake of buying into a too cheap to ignore deal? Leave a comment below. I read and reply to every single one. Don't buy a house just because it's cheap. Live where you feel truly alive.